up, everyone? Welcome to another fantastic episode of the MCU After Show, where we are talking about Halo, the TV series, and all helmets off on this review. I am so excited for this. Man, the helmet's off. Let's go, guys. So we have an incredible panel tonight. I'm going to start from the top to the bottom. We have Celebrity Paul with me, right next to me. What's up, Paul?
Not much. Doing good so far today. It's been a great week so far. Having a lot of fun. Let's go, Halo.
That's right. PK, what's up, man?
What's happening? Glad to get into this discussion. You know, this is pretty special. Been talking about this, proving that we can have quality video game series going forward, breaking that long curse, right?
That's right. And Paris. Oh, yes. Halo, man.
Yes, Halo. Finally, a good TV show. Paramount Plus. Let's do it. Let's go.
That's right. So, for everybody watching, we're going to recap the first and second episode to kind of catch up. And I'm going to start off by saying that, for the first episode, the first 28 minutes in, I was very excited for it. Like the Covenant coming in, they were in the town doing their destruction and trying to find whatever artifact that they were looking for. And all the people in that town were so scared of the Spartans because of all these rumors and different things about how they're programmed. And, there comes 117 coming in to save the day with his crew. I guess there was some bad history there somewhere along the lines, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I thought the first 20 minutes was epic. I was so excited for it. When they got to Reach, that's when I kind of fell off a little bit, but it does pick back up. And I thought that was fantastic the way it's written. And, a lot of people are going to be out there telling me, hey, Carlo, it's not according to the video game. It's not according to the video game. It's off the video game story. You know what? I am happy about that, to be honest with you, because it opens up the universe. It allows them to do a lot more with this universe. They can introduce new enemies. They can introduce new characters, new planets, different rings. Whatever they wanted to do, they can do now because it's so open. They're not closed to a limited story where where the game is linear in the story and it just goes from point A to point B, which they have to do when they make the game. But now the show, high quality stuff, and it looks really good, and it gives me Star Trek vibes, and it gives me Star Wars vibes in different parts of the first episode. And I was happy for this. So, Paris, I'm going to go to you.
Me first. We're gonna start with episode 1, right?
Episode 1.
Awesome. Oh, I thought you were going to ask me a question. Oh, you mean how?
It's good,
Okay.
He was just asking you to give your unbiased opinion.
Unbiased opinion. Oh, okay. Yes, I'll go first. Unbiased opinion. Well, number one, I'm so happy that this show was greenlit and we're able to do it. So that's awesome. Number two, the first, like you said, first 28 minutes of episode 1 was epic. It was, kids out there doing kids stuff, teenagers doing teenager stuff, and they show up and no holds barred, right? It was just, they just went right after him, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, them to run away and then get captured and they bring them back and take them to a ship or something. But no, they blew my mind. I was like, okay, Halo, let's go. They are not messing around. The throwbacks to the video game was awesome. They used the video game to pull the store points, and just how they did the camo when the aliens put the camo on and he was invisible. The energy shield when Master Chief's energy shield went down, and you can hear the little thing just like you're playing a game, right? It was like when your power goes back up. That was awesome. I was like, what the heck? I was like that. I wasn't expecting that either. I just thought he was just going to be damaged and that was it. But no, it was good. That first episode set the tone. There's a lot of content out there right now, and Halo is ruling Thursdays. So I am excited for all the episodes so far. Episode 1 and episode 2 were great. We'll talk about episode 2 later, but so far episode 1, it's awesome. Yes, yes, set the tone for the entire series. That's just how I feel about it. And no, Xbox bias opinion there. No.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's Paris's honest opinion, right? I mean,
Yes, honest
and
opinion.
it's my honest opinion, and I will tell you why. Because a lot of people might be watching this and they're super Halo fans, and I get that. Halo's a great franchise. I don't dispute that. It's one of the best video game franchises of all time. But I am not a super Halo fan. So my opinion on the show is very unique because I think the show is epic. And it's coming from a casual Halo player standpoint. So it's my honest opinion. And, PK, you are a true Halo fan. How many, 15 times or something you watched the first episode already?
So yeah, I mean, I watched it 12,
Nice.
but I wouldn't start out and telling people you're not a super Halo fan. I would just say that. But yo, before I give my spiel, because I'm not, I don't want Paul to follow me. I want Paul. I gotta give respect to my elders and let Paul go first.
we got to go there. Wow.
You know I love you, man. And that's why you go first.
All right. Let's see. I like Carlo. I enjoy the games, but I'm not one of the guys that read the books and really followed the storyline. And I was told, even after I watched the episode, well, to really appreciate what they did right and what they did wrong, you need to know all this other backstory stuff. No, you don't. If they do the show right, you don't need to know any of that stuff. And I would rather not know any of that stuff so I can enjoy the show for the show. I don't care what color Master Chief's eyes are supposed to be or whether he has 6 toes on a foot. I don't care. I want to enjoy the show for the show. And I too really enjoyed episode 1 because when I play Halo, I'm more like one of the kids in the first scene where, they all, well, that's the end of the game. That's, but I enjoyed it. And you're right. It went a lot darker than I probably thought it was going to for a TV show. But then again, that made it enjoyable too. The effects when they were actually fighting, were amazing. Some of the sequences and how they offed the bad guys was really incredible. And like Paris, I caught the little sounds and stuff that made it feel like you're watching a Halo show or watching, especially the Shield one is the one that really stood out to me. When somebody was paying attention and did it right. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to more. I really am.
And that's your cue, PK.
All right, so let me just ask: this is a spoiler kind of?
You can talk.
So I just want to make sure we have a disclaimer because I just know we're kind of giving away some things. So I just want to put it out there that Paramount is, obviously this is a blockbuster for Paramount. The most streamed show of their entire streaming existence. I know a lot of people's like it's not saying much, but let's be real. Paramount is a combination of a lot of Viacom, CBS, and am I getting it wrong? But they have a lot of shows up under their belt, right? So, I know a lot of people are Star Trek fans. It's like, so this is a big deal. Another thing I want to point out is on their YouTube channel, they're allowing you to watch the first episode for free. So for those who are not subscribed, you can get a sneak peek. Definitely take a look at the first episode and see the quality for yourself. So no one else, you don't always have to trust our opinions. However, we're giving it to you. So just throwing that out there. So for me, the reason I had to watch it over and over, one, is because I felt like I was missing something every time I watched it. And two, I guess part of the reason it felt kind of dark is, the games, they didn't really show, it's not like Gears where you see body parts flipping off of people and things of that nature. So it's a little taken off guard when you see that in the show, right? Because you're not used to it. Not to say I wouldn't be against a Halo game being like that. It don't have to be a main series, but I would love to have a different Halo game that'll have a little more violence in it. I'm just that type of
Mm,
guy. I kind of like some raw and uncut. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is, and um, what I appreciate is that for a lot of casual people who are not the biggest Halo fans, may play the games, don't pay attention to the story, but more or less just enjoy an action sci-fi shooter, right? So I just want to put it out here. I think that it was written intentionally to ground Master Chief as a human character so that he's relatable. Um, One of the things that I always point out, like Dwayne McDuffie, when he used to write for Superman and Spider Man. So it's hard to relate to certain characters, not Spider Man, but I forget the other character, but uh, it's hard to relate to some heroes because they feel too above, uh, a normal person. So it's hard to relate to them. So the way they are writing it is to bring the character down to a human level so that you care more about his thoughts than just his actions. And I know we all can get behind his actions easy. Um,
Mhm.
Another thing is, obviously the open action sequence is great, especially playing Halo for so long, and now you get to see it in live action. Um, how many other video game uh, franchises have we seen that we would be super excited to see brought to action, and either it failed or it didn't happen, right? So we're still waiting on Gears, right? But another thing I want to point out is this is high quality television. This is not a movie, and for the special effects to be as good as it is, you gotta tip your hat, man, because it is very difficult to make it look as good as it did for a TV show,
Yeah.
right? Because the budget they working with is kind of restrict, kind of it's so along with the good writing and the special effects and the action sequences. To me, I was super excited. Watching that action sequence over and over is exciting. It's no different than me watching, uh, you know, uh, the opening sequence to the Bumblebee Transformer movie. It's just that first 5 minutes was just
It's an
it's
epic,
like
right?
yeah.
it's mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
And the action tells its own story. It shows how powerful the Spartans are, how precise, and it was only four of them, and they took on a whole battalion of elites, right? And it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and it also made me feel like we need an action game like this for Halo. We just need a side game that we can just jump around, kick, and throw stuff and do other stuff and punch and kick and do all that. Third person action game, please.
Mhm.
That's what we need for a Halo game. That's a side project. That's not for Paris to hear. It's just for you guys to hear, in my opinion. Um, but that at the end of the day, the I felt like the first episode did set out to do exactly what it did. It gave us an introduction and it gave us somewhat of a conclusion. Yes, it did end on a cliffhanger, but you got to understand that the change at the end was a showing a change in the character from where it started to the journey it's going. It's kind of similar to how we look at the Mandalorian, right? Or any other show that's similar that does have cliffhangers, but it tells a complete story
Mhm.
um, from one to another. Yes, there is some character building. Yes, there's some world building going on. It's a TV show. If it doesn't have that, we wouldn't care about no characters. So yes, they introduced some new characters, and this is fine. And full disclaimer, I'm gonna just tell you guys, for all those who are out there wanting a 1-for-1 ratio from a video game to the TV show, that's not going to happen. It will not happen because that prevents them from telling better stories. Um, I know all of you are Marvel fans out there, and you've been watching these Marvel movies for years, and none of them are one to the comics. But it's definitely okay. I mean, we just had a Spider-Man movie with 3 different versions of Spider-Man who has nothing to do with the comics, and everybody was excited to see that. So if you cool with that, you should be
Yeah.
cool with this too. I mean, you got to keep that same energy and watch it for what it is and enjoy it for what it is, and don't ruin someone else's excitement. Now, I'm not going to say you have to like it, each to his own, but don't ruin it for someone else, because I'm telling you, it is great. Not only is it enjoyable to watch, the first episode sets the tone, but it also shows that video games adaptions, as long as they stick to the core source, like keep the source material, not and it has nothing to do with the story. I'm talking about the character. As long as the character stays grounded to what it is and what it represents, we can all get behind it. I mean, look at Sonic, right? Sonic has nothing to do. The movie has nothing to do with the video game, but it did is crushing it, right? Two is, as of this time of recording, um, hasn't dropped yet, or there is some pre screening, but they already signed up for three. It hasn't even made money, and that's my point. Is like, it, just enjoy for what it is. They have put some quality into this product, and they are proud of it. And you should definitely give it a shot. Don't frown, give it a shot. Even if you think it's all right, compare it to another video game franchise that's made it to TV, and see
Right.
how much of an upgrade
Yeah.
that is.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a question for you, PK, because you're more of a Halo player than I am and never will be. The one thing the show does is it did show the plight of the humans. We actually never saw that in the video games, have we? We've always come in after the humans were attacked or whatever, or after
So
the bases were wiped out.
a lot of it. See, the thing is, remember the first game, we really didn't know what was going on.
No.
We just landed on this thing, and we
Yep.
didn't even know it was a actual ring, because it looked like it was outside, and a
Yeah.
lot of so they were kind of making the story up as they go. To be honest, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The lore wasn't created until after the first
Mm.
game.
Right.
So when you think about it, this is kind of a open space for them to kind of create something new,
Right.
and it makes sense if you think about it. Yes, there is contentions between the regular population and the UNSC, but when you think about it, this makes sense,
Yeah.
because what are Spartans made out of? Like, they basically stole kids or whatever,
Yeah.
trafficked them, right, and created super soldiers. So that's horrible, to be honest. I mean, it tells the story, and we'll get into the second episode, but you get what I'm saying. It in order to create a drama or action or get you to care about, there's got to be
Yeah.
some sort of conflict or
Right.
conflict of interest. It wouldn't make sense if everything was just sunshines and roses,
Right.
and then all you're
Well.
doing is fighting the
Yeah.
the covenant. That there's no fear
Yeah.
that the main character or his people are in danger. You got to
Yeah.
have some sort of conflict in order
Well.
to have take away the safety net, so that you know that anybody can get it, and you just don't hope it's not this person.
Yeah.
Well, what
Well, let's
I'm also trying to point out is it also shows the way they're doing on TV that there is a community out there. It's more than just the U.S. and EU. It's more than just the Spartans versus the aliens. They are actually trying to protect mankind or what's left of it. And so now we're getting introduced to here's what mankind's going through. Here's the threat. Here's we're talking young kids. We're talking families getting threatened, not all just soldiers. So that's all I'm saying is we're getting parts of that we always heard about in the games, but now we get to see it. We get to see the threat. We get to see the danger, so we get to understand it a little bit more.
Well,
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paris.
no, Carl, you can go, but I was just going to say let's dive into the episode and talk about why. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
The second
Well,
episode for sure. Yeah.
So before we move on to the second episode, one thing that I really want to point out in the first episode that I liked a lot is I like the way the aliens were filmed, right? I liked the animations of the aliens. I thought they looked really good because honestly, when I first heard about the TV show and it was switching networks, I was really confused and concerned. I was like, "Oh man, are the aliens going to look terrible?" But no, the Covenant looks so good. They look really good. I mean, you can't complain because if you compare this to to me, I can compare this to Star Trek in my mind, right? And I think that the aliens look just as good as they do in Star Trek, and that's saying a
or
lot
any of the
for.
Star Wars movies, or even the movies or the actual Star Wars shows that you've seen,
Yeah, lately.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
the Book of Boba Fett. Those aliens and stuff like that and creatures. They are on the same level as that, so they're actually they look really pretty damn good, really good.
And I think that's important for a lot of people to know out there because it's people that are going to criticize this are probably going to point out what they deem as flaws, but I think this is just they did a great job with this.
Yep.
And there's nothing bad I could say about it. But the second episode, wow, this has me so excited because everybody's going to say, "Carlo, don't say it. Don't say-" His helmet came off and I loved it. I loved seeing his helmet off. Because it showed that he was human, right? It gave him a human persona for the TV show. Whereas in the video game, we know Steve Downes does a great job with the voice. And shout out to Steve Downes for that. But the character never takes his helmet off in the video game. And you kind of wonder sometimes, in my mind, at least as a casual player, is he even human? Is he programmed? What is going on with Master Chief in the video game? But when we come to the TV show, and you see his helmet come off, there's a human underneath that. And that speaks to me because it says, hey, there's humanity here, no matter how much he's programmed. And we saw that humanity in the second episode when he defied some serious orders. Like he showed, wait a minute, I may be trained for this and I may be an expert in following orders and what I'm supposed to do, my belief in protecting humans. But wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. I have to break from the code. I have to break from the code because something is wrong. And, he's trying to figure out who he is, his own identity. And that's what the second episode really is. I know some people, I've seen some reports online that were like, oh, the second episode was boring or, it didn't really have a lot of action. No, it's a build-up after the first episode. It's to show you who Master Chief really is, who the Spartans are. That is what it's for. So, let's see. PK, I'm going to go to you on this one next because I want to hear your excitement for his helmet coming off, buddy.
Well, he took his helmet off at the end of the first episode, but he took it off in Halo 4 too. I mean, it's not like it's a new thing. He did it in a video game too. You just didn't.
You'd never know that by listening to most of the critics. I'll tell you that. Right?
You didn't get to see this part down, but you did get to see, up to that level. Yeah. But as far as him taking his helmet off, for me, it was cool, but it wasn't as impactful for me because he did it in the end of the first episode. I guess if they kind of built up to it, it would have been more like a wow factor. But I'm not hating on it. It's just, it was kind of there in this thing. And yes, it made him seem more human. But in the second episode, it was more about his relationship with his friend, seemingly his best friend. And when they were being brought up, right? Somebody help me with his name because it's escaping my memory. But they were doing testing on him, and his arm was deformed. And he had like kind of like a penguin kind of hand with two fingers and a thumb or something. And it was about their relationship because it's a flashback of he was trying to escape, and John wanted to follow orders, but he gave him 5 minutes to get away.
Yeah. Soren 66 was this.
Soren 66. There you go. So he's an important character, and this is why he was introduced this way, is to show that this backstory has meaning to the future relationship 117 and this Spartan, right? And with that being said, the show had a lot of different things going on. One, he had this artifact that was from the Forerunners, right? And he didn't know what it was. So where did he go? He went to a place where he always knew where his friend was, always. And even though he ain't talked to him since they were kids, he is the only person he could trust. Isn't that weird? He
Mm.
just, you know what I mean? He just navigates to this place out of all places. He knew that this man would take him in. And along that journey, a lot of little things happen. Apparently, the new star, the girl he protected, is more important than what she seems to be, or at least her dad was,
Mm.
because there was some interactions there that was kind of weird, and um, it's almost like they're planting seeds.
Right.
Okay, and with that being said, we also discovered that his old friend that took him in also has a kid. And he was like, John was thinking like, wait a minute, I didn't know we could even have kids, and
Yeah.
so they didn't really go into depth, but all of this stuff is definitely intentional. And even though it hasn't revealed itself yet, you got to understand, it seems like the way that they're telling stories is they're planting seeds,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a slow burn. Um, I know a lot of writers who like to write with slow burns, plant a lot of seeds, and then they hit you with this uh, thing that recalls back to this scene that you seen a while ago, and you're like, "Oh, I remember that. That's why this is that way." And at first, I'm gonna just be honest. At first, I thought that because of their Forerunner technology, any human can activate the device, but it's just not any human. That's what we learned.
Yep.
Um, it's a special human that can activate the device. So, with that being said, they also, like I said, they didn't say it, but they cut to the scene of the other new character who is taking refuge with the Covenant. Almost like there's a connection.
Mm.
They didn't outright say it, but again, there's seeds being planted there. So I think more or less, again, this is a world building thing, and every episode doesn't need to have action. It just needs to have content, and like I said, tell a solid story, get us to go along with this journey. We want to be on this train, so keep us going on the train. And I think they did a solid job. Again, I am not disappointed, and I watch a lot of different hero TV shows, and
Yeah.
there are some that are disappointing to me because it just has poor writing. But I really think that they did put a lot of work into telling a solid story, because I think in the end, we're end of the season is going to be a huge event.
Right. Yeah. One thing I want to call out is a shout out to the USNC's Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi is awesome. They can reach. They're reaching halfway across the. I don't know if it's a galaxy or whatever they're in, or their own, whatever. But yeah, they got the Wi-Fi of the world there going on. Uh, Now, in that second episode, like you can like when you watch the first episode, they were the human population, whatever's left of them, they weren't really excited for the Spartans. Like probably have had a lot of wars with each other, a lot of battles, because of whatever's been going on and control for whatever planet, or for everybody to fall underneath, one rule, right? Where one group of people rule over everyone, sort of thing. So, and
Mhm.
the other people are like, no, we want to be free, do whatever we want, right? So, there is some of that, and then like at the end of the episode too, where they got that guy that's I cannot remember his name, but he was assassinating other humans with the backing of UNSC. So I was like, okay, and there's this thing, and he's talking about taking control over planets and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is weird. So UNSC is aligning themselves with would be terrorists, right?
Right.
Just so they can get the job done. But they quasi promote it as we are here to save the world, right? So it's like, do you trust them? Right? Even the captain's daughter, the general's daughter, was like, "What are we doing?" Like, sort of thing. She was starting to question it, and her mom is, working on all this top secret stuff and doing stuff on her own and breaking the rules and losing, like betraying that admiral by throwing out her idea with at the round table, and the admiral's like, can't believe this woman. Like, what is she doing? I told her to destroy it, and she's over here promoting it. Like, everybody else was like, "Oh yeah, tell us more, tell us more." You could just tell the other lady was she was boiling inside, like, oh my gosh, what is like? So and the doctor, she's shady, right? She's tricking Master Chief and stuff like that. You could tell when they had that little conversation in the plane where he was talking about the visions and stuff, and how he said he can trust her, and she was like, "Yes, you're right. You can trust me." Thing coming. It's called Cortana, and I'm going to install her on you. She's going to take over your body. I have a feeling that's going to backfire, but that's just my thoughts going into the episodes. But yeah, it was great. Storytelling as PK. Storytelling, right? It doesn't have to be all action, like you said. It can be just, as long as you're keeping the story moving, we're on this journey of learning more about all these people. It doesn't have to be sort of like shoot 'em, bang, bang. And we're traveling to different worlds. That planet right there that they were on, just imagine if they put that in a video game, right? I'm not saying they would, but just imagine if you were playing a video game on that planet with all those asteroids, everything's chained up, and it was unique. It was really cool. That's what I'm loving about the show so far. They're introducing new stuff that we've never seen before. Paul, how'd you feel about that second episode?
I'm big on shows that have exposition if it's done right, which this one did. You just have to. It's not going to pay off maybe for a few episodes, like you've all said. These are seeds that are being planted that are going to come in later. Now you get to start to play the game. Who are the real good guys and who are the real bad guys here? Or are there any real good guys or bad guys? Is everybody kind of gray, just doing what they need to do to get to where they want to be? Which is what we're going to see a lot of. Which is some of the best stories are told that way. It's not always black and white, especially when you're dealing with situations like that. So I'm not, you guys have covered most of the detail, and I'm not a real detail oriented guy, but I look at those things and I say, what if you kind of got bored when you watched it the first time, watch it again and really look at and listen to what they're saying and what's going on, because all of this, if it's done right, is going to come back, and you're going to go, oh yeah, you could see hints of that little part of the relationship back in episode 2, or you could see hints that was going on back in episode 2. They're chopping little pieces of bread, so you're going to have something to go back on, instead of all of a sudden in an episode, wait, so the USNC are killing people on purpose? Where did that come from? Well, now we know, or at least we know what's happening, because it's not like a video game where they just kind of drop it on you and you go, oh, really? No, they're going to tell a much longer story. And they have more than 2 hours for a movie. They have however many episodes this is. I think it's 6 or 8, somewhere in there. I think it's 8. So that's 8 hours of stuff to tell a really well done story if they've done it right. And I hope they have. And I'm going to keep watching and keep hoping that it just keeps feeding on what they're doing.
Yeah. For me, it's beside hope. It's like, it's already there for me. I'm going to watch it. There's no more hope. It's like, I hope this is going to be good. No, it's good.
Well, no, I know it's good. I'm just saying that, mostly to quiet the naysayers, if they will sit through it and actually watch it and enjoy it for what it is, instead of nitpicking it every week.
Right. I mean, people are just going to say whatever when it comes to episodes. Like, even for Moon Knight, people were hating on Moon Knight, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't
like,
be
how's that?
that.
Like, how's that even possible, right? So it's just, people are going to say whatever they're going to say. As long as we're enjoying it and we talk about all the good things out of it. you may convince people to start, and people who
Yep.
probably never even watched the episode, they're already hating. Hey, took his
And I
helmet
know
off.
for me
I'm not watching
personally, and for you guys, if there is something critical, we won't be afraid to say anything critical either.
it.
If they do something and we kind of go, huh, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna admit it to each other. That was a moment.
Right.
My favorite moment though, helmet off. I love that. I love it.
Helmet off.
PK is looking at me like, I don't know, Carlo.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not tripping.
Eh.
It's a good moment. I'm just saying, um,
Fascism.
it wasn't as impactful as it could have been if they built up to that
Look,
moment.
they're building up to it, but yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think they're really building up to him. He just was there and took it off.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Like it's
It was just
all the time sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a natural thing, not a this is an odd thing. It was a natural thing.
They didn't build like this. They didn't pan and move in slow motion and do all this. Play some music.
Do the John Woo 360.
Yeah.
So
doing all those little extra things,
before we close on get out of here, I do have a question for PK. And so in the Covenant area where they had I don't know what the proper term is, so forgive me everybody that's watching if I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but the Covenant rule and authority, and the human girl was there, right? Is that a character that was ever referenced in any of the games?
not that I know of.
And I find that very interesting because it shows
she's
that
the blessed one.
Yes. It shows that there's some type of potential then in the future storyline that maybe at some point the Covenant could speak to humans. Just a thought. I mean, I could be way wrong on this, but just a thought.
I mean, just like any Wi-Fi or space adventure, there's
There's going to be
translators.
right. and you would have to think there's going to be Covenant members that are not with the whatever they're doing, right? So, I'm sure it's a bigger universe for it all, and we'll see how it goes. And people are I think I heard somebody, I read someone say, "Oh, why are they having a human with the aliens?" I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
There's a reason. We're in episode 2, right? There's
Yeah.
going to be a reason for it. So,
I mean, for all we know, the Covenant could have went in, destroyed a planet, and they found a baby, and they're like, "Oh, let's rescue the baby and see what the human race is about. Let's see what develops from this baby." I mean,
right.
they're probably
Maybe
just
the
curious.
baby touched something before, some artifact before, and turned it on, and now they think that, oh, we got to keep this one because this one may be the special one that can lead us to, as they were talking about. They're looking to figure out how the universe began, so they can destroy it all. Right?
Well, and in any conflict like that too, there's the old adage of know thy enemy. So by having one with them, they can learn from that.
Right. Why did they even attack that random planet, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Right? So we still need to figure that out, right? Other than the fact that they had they were there drilling for the artifact, but why would they just go? Why would they give up their position and attack the planet while they're already there doing their stuff? I know the kids were playing around, but they didn't even need to do all that. But
well, I think they felt like that someone been into the excavation site.
oh, okay, someone was in there. Okay,
Yeah, so that's why they attacked, because they felt like somebody was in there messing with it.
mm-hmm.
I don't think they wanted to bring attention to themselves, so
Right.
I don't think they meant for you get what I'm saying. I don't think they meant to just, it wasn't a random thing. Like, I don't think they randomly do anything. It's definitely a planned situation in my mind on everything that they do. Now it's just me. You guys can say I'm wrong, but they call the Spartans demons because in their religion, because they Covenant is a religion, they view anyone that is an enhanced or anything beyond normal as a demon, and they're the good guys. So the Covenant thinks they're the good guys. That's how they view things.
Right.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. Episode 3, Thursday, Paramount Plus. Yep.
So I'm gonna go to the casual Halo player, just like myself. Can you give us a rating for episode 1 and a rating for episode 2?
Oh, me? I would say 1. I would say I'd give it a 8.5.
Okay.
2 because even though I don't mind exposition, yeah, I'm an action fan. I'd probably give it like an 8, because I do like the way they're gonna flesh it out. But I did have to go back and watch it a second time because I did kind of phase out on parts of it just because I'm always doing my other things, and so in getting in that much exposition, kind of, you know, you have to keep my attention, but
Makes
not in a
sense.
bad way. But I'm not gonna say it's slam it because I can't pay attention. That's just me, So yeah, that's about where I'm at with it.
Paris?
Yeah, episode 1, I'm gonna give it a 9. It was awesome. It was dope. I love the way that they did it. Right off the bat, they just got to the point. Let's go.
Yeah.
No prisoners, no holds barred. Let's go. Let's just dive into this thing. This is Halo. This is what we're talking about. Episode 2. There's just one point in episode 2 that kind of just was not sitting right with me personally. It was just the part where they went into that cell and they were talking to the guy that was having all those mental breakdowns. That was kidnapped by the Covenant. I guess he was in one of their ships before. That's he was I think they may have overdid his character as far as the craziness goes. It's sort of just it was being redundant to me. I think they could have just had him continue to talk and stuff like that, but the switching back and forth really quick without really, I don't know, it just seemed like weird where he was like, oh, you need to destroy yourself or destroy that and destroy yourself and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay. But given that, I will go with a 7.5 for episode 2. I love the storytelling. I like the way that they're continuing the story. But other than that, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It was great. I can't wait till episode 3 Thursday, Paramount Plus.
Nice. PK?
I think episode 1 was solid. A very good impression, very good opening to get people into it. So, like a 9.5. I feel like 2 is slower, but it's a story. It's trying to get us where we need to be. So I think it is solid 8. Um, I understand Paris's feelings about that character. It was a little over the top, but maybe it was supposed to be that
It
way.
was supposed to be right. Yeah.
Maybe it was supposed to kind of take us off guard and make us feel cringe on purpose.
On
You know,
purpose.
it was probably meant. I don't know. We'll see. But
We'll see,
at the end
right?
of the
Yeah.
day, I think it was solid. I'm happy to see the next one. Like I said, for those who may not be subscribed to Paramount Plus yet, you definitely could check it out. At least the first episode on their YouTube channel, Paramount Plus. They show the entire first episode for free, and you can definitely after that you should definitely it will get you. It'll grab you, and you're gonna want to subscribe. That's for sure.
I wanted to piggyback onto that. I think there's also a 30 days free of Paramount Plus floating about right now.
Yep.
So
if you're an
if
Xbox
you
Game Pass subscriber, you
if the
should be able to
Xbox
take
Game
it.
Pass subscriber, so if you want to,
What
hold
was
off
that
a
again,
few,
Paul?
what
What was that again? If you what?
Xbox Game Pass subscriber.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I heard right. I
Yeah,
don't know.
jeez. But yeah, so if you have Xbox Game Pass and you're interested in it, you can get Paramount Plus for 30 days for free.
There you go.
Which
Yep.
means, depending on when you activate it, you can enjoy up to about 4 weeks of shows,
Mm-hmm.
for free. So
Yeah.
That was great.
Well, my opinions on the first episode, I'm gonna say, I think I'm at a 9 on the first episode because I really think the first 28 minutes was so epic. Seeing the Covenant and all their glory and fighting, Effects were great. Second episode, I'm probably at a solid 8 on that one. I understand that, they have to build up, tell a little bit of the story, show his humanity a little bit, and go from there. And I think it's a great build up. And I'm looking forward to episode 3. And like PK and Paul alluded to, there's ways to watch the episode for free right now, whether it's a 30-day trial, whether you're watching it on the YouTube channel for Paramount Plus. T-Mobile is giving out a year subscription if you're a subscriber to T-Mobile. Also, Pluto TV is now doing the first episode commercial free as well. So there's plenty of ways to watch this, and it is such an epic franchise to go to Paramount Plus, and I'm glad it found a home there, because I think Paramount Plus is doing its service and justice to get this seen by as many people as possible. So, and until we talk to you guys next time, I'm gonna go ahead and ask everybody where they can be found. Paul, aka Xbox Celebrity Ambassador, where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at CerebralPaul1, Twitch and YouTube at CerebralPaul. You can find me on the Xbox Ambassadors channel on their Twitch channel, Xbox Ambassadors, Mondays afternoon, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. I always have to do the math. 6 p.m. UK time for my show, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul.
Nice. And PK, where can people find you?
And you can definitely find me here on the channel for GQ TV, and definitely and check me out on a Saturday on the Dragon's Den. And definitely you can shoot me a DM over at PKX Live on my Twitter. Definitely down to game and have good conversations. Thanks guys for coming through and checking us out. Let us know what you think, what your thoughts are on the shows. We would love to hear from you and hear what your opinions are. Thanks for coming through.
Awesome. And Paris, where can people find you?
You can find me at AKA Pineapples. No, just. Now you can find me on Twitter, Plock77. You can also find me at one of the largest Marvel groups on Facebook, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Over there, trucking along, talking about all things Marvel. You can also catch me on this channel when we're talking about all our Marvel shows, and now we're talking about Halo, and who knows, we're going to be talking about something else. I think we need to do a the Batman movie review. I know.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Because that would be awesome. So yeah. Oh, and Morbius, we need to do that too. So yeah, and then we're gonna have the Thor trailer coming, and then Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coming. Miss Marvel's in June too, so whew, it just keeps on trucking for us content people who love this stuff. So it's awesome. Then there's games, all sorts of. Oh man, it's just. I think we're in the perfect era right now. I don't know if it's going to get any better than this for all the youngsters. Maybe it will. Hopefully it does. They're going to have all sorts of stuff, and they're going to look at our stuff and be like, yeah, we can't believe y'all actually did that, right? So, great show. Thanks for tuning in.
And for everybody out there, like PK alluded to, thank you for coming through, watching the show. Drop your comment below. Are you just as excited that he took off his helmet as I am? Because I think that's awesome. We could talk about that in the comments. Also, you can always find me on 4GQ TV, and we got some stuff coming up. We got some other interviews coming up and things that we're working in the background. So stay tuned for that, and lots of content coming, like Paris said. So many shows, so much content coming so quickly. Absolutely. The generations today are so lucky that they don't have to wait 6 months to a year like we used to growing up just for a movie to come out. Now you just got so much Marvel content, so much DC content. Oh, it's so great. Everybody's so lucky right now. All right, guys, until next time, see you guys later.